Okay, so last part, we're talking about methods taught by 3 different prophets who claim to be communicating law directly from God. And those methods were meditation and prayer, which might be the same thing. I guess. It really depends. I think they're the same thing, but I don't know. Who does? So you might ask, I'm thinking right now, what are you tapping into? That sounds so nutty, right? These methods allow you to kind of realize some sort of connection and solve all your problems, because religion's supposed to resolve all your sorrow. I was going to say dissolve, I guess that works too. But, I mean, philosophy, psychology works into this too. I mean, what was it that Edgar Cayce and Carl Jung spoke of when they both spoke of this collective? Well, Carl Jung spoke of this collective unconscious, and Cayce spoke of the same thing using a label that he called the Akashic Records, right? The Akashic Records are supposed to hold, it's a reservoir holding all the experiences of every single observer. The term observer doesn't really necessarily mean living, breathing life form as we know it, but it holds all the information, all the different perspectives, all the infinite perspectives of everything. So it holds absolute truth. And the collective unconscious is kind of like Jung described it as, humans and all of our minds kind of, all the information that has been experienced, is experienced, and will be experienced is kind of collected in this reservoir of data that we can meditate. We meditate in order to tap into that and gain information, which is why some artists, claim to just kind of relax and think about things, and these ideas and information just kind of generate internally, and they come out and it's like, well, I just kind of tapped into my creative side. And it's a very loose kind of bizarre fairy tale explanation for how that might work, how meditation might work. I mean, it's kind of a shaky basis, shaky grounds for. This is where things get interesting, and this is where they also get really just people disagree here. It's so prone to disagreement, but controversial. That's the word I was looking for. Man, third video in, I already forgot my train of thought. You lose your train of thought from video. This is gonna be fixed. Can't do this 10-minute limit thing. And this is when artists say that they constrain their creative control, their creative process and activity, and that's what I feel like right now. I feel like I'm boxed into this window that is distracting me from just trying to say what I want to say. I don't know. Anyway, that's my basis for thinking about religion, and that's the angle, that's the perspective that I'm trying to study everything. And it comes in bursts, right? Pulses in my life. I mean, that's just the way I am with anything, really. And I'm really into a book about, say I wake up one day and I'm just really into pottery, which that hasn't happened. I'll wake up tomorrow morning, out of nowhere, I just get this feeling, I really want to read about pottery today. I want to study it, I want to read about it, I want to learn how to make it. Well, that's a burst of interest. So I better use that day to read as much as I can about pottery, because the next day I'm not going to care. It's kind of the same thing with religion. It sounds really bad when I use it in that context. But it is. I mean, my head will kind of go in these directions for a couple weeks, and I'll take the time to think about it, which is kind of what this is right here. I'm not talking to anybody. This is YouTube, man. I'm using this. This is kind of like introspection right here. So yeah, I'll have a couple weeks to think about it, to read about it, to study it, to watch some videos, maybe some YouTube videos, make some YouTube videos, maybe become that 0.01% closer to maybe starting to grasp something that makes sense to me. And then I'll take a few months off and move on, do something else for 2 weeks, and then do something else for the next 2 weeks. But so yeah, this is my platform that I'm building to kind of launch off into my religious studies before I kind of settle in somewhere and start to identify with something. Because at the moment I'm kind of agnostic, right? And a lot of people misinterpret that label as, you know, agnostics don't believe in anything, which is not true. I mean, what's the right definition? Right? Go to Wikipedia. I don't even know what it says. Probably says that. Jeez. The word agnostic means that you don't know. Now, why you don't know, I guess, you know, that's where agnostics can start to label themselves. But that's the root thing. You don't know. Now, I'll say, this is me elaborating on that. Over 6 minutes. I'm going to say that I don't know because I'm a limited human being. I have senses that cannot be used in an absolute sense. I can't see through walls. I can't hear millions of miles away. There is zero way that I am aware of that I can use my senses to accurately explore every piece of information in the entire universe from as many different perspectives, infinite number of perspectives as possible. The human mind, as far as I know, is not capable of doing that. Furthermore, like dolphins have the sonar sense in order to receive information. We don't have that. There could be loads of senses that humans don't have that other living things do. Therefore, we cannot document and explore the universe in every manner, in every perspective possible. Therefore, we cannot make absolute statements such as, this is, this isn't, because we don't have all the information. We don't have all the data, and that's why I'm agnostic. Because I don't know. And even if these methods that we're talking about work, that you can tap into some absolute form, when you get the data back in your head and you communicate it to others, you think about it in your head, it becomes relative. You have to encode it into a way you understand and you can communicate it to someone else. Language, it's a filter. The way you think about things, it's a filter. Raw data, raw information cannot be understood. And if it can, then that person's mind has evolved in a way that's very different from my own. Amen. And I can only be sure of my own mind. I'm starting to ramble now. I'm sure people watching this, if they're still watching, like, he started rambling 2 minutes into the first video. Alright. Think about this stuff. Tell me, write me back. Make a video response to this. Tell me how you think about religion, how you study it, how you go after it. Give me some feedback. I want to know. I'm interested. I mean, I have 2 weeks. Yeah. I have some time before I lose interest in this. But even after 2 weeks pass, like, still send me stuff because I'll watch it. I'll read it.